Let me introduce Chance Cutrano. He is the Director of Programs at the Resource Renewal Institute. Chance, say hey.
Hey, how's it going, Kevin?
It's going well. Welcome to the broadcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing, on a scale of like 1 to 10, I would say I'm a 12, probably.
I want to know your secret. What would that be?
I think the secret is appreciation, taking a moment for appreciation of everything. And Earth Day is a perfect day to do it.
Oh, awesome. That's great. Well, so part of what we're doing, in addition to talking about, what kids and families can do in the future or now, is also understanding what we are doing. I mean, you are a climate leader. What are you doing for Earth Day?
Yeah, wow. For Earth Day, Earth Day is every day in the environmental business. And so while I do nonprofit work with the Resource Renewal Institute, I'm also the vice chair of the San Francisco Bay chapter of the Sierra Club. And I'm also on the open space committee for my town here in Fairfax, California. So, it's just bouncing around from project to project, really. And that's basically what today has been, bouncing around from project to project, hopping on different calls and organizing communities across this great state.
I heard you in your interview. It was a Sierra Club interview, and it was terrific because I loved the fact that you identified almost first and foremost as an artist. And I so get that, the notion that art and creating a better world are interlinked. Is that something that you find yourself coming back to on a regular basis?
Yeah, so I actually come from a background in music to the environmental movement as now a policy wonk. So it's kind of a switch, but I always have that artistic piece of me that I have to put into everything. The same way that you'd compose a song, or you might take, different mediums and put them together and create a new masterpiece. I feel like that's what we're doing when we're working on policy and we're trying to affect change for our community.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so tell me a little bit about your work. What is it that Resource Renewal Institute does?
Yeah, so Resource Renewal Institute is an environmental nonprofit up here in Marin, but it's made waves throughout California and throughout the world. It's been around for about 35 years now, which is pretty great, but it was founded by our current board chair, Huey Johnson, who is, an environmental superstar, founded the Trust for Public Land, built up the Nature Conservancy. And so he wanted to create this think tank where he could take some of the ideas he had when he was the Secretary of Resources for the state of California and put them to work. Long-term ecological planning called green planning, protecting our commons, the same thing that Kat had just spoken about. So that's some of the stuff that we've put into a lot of our projects. I focus on public lands protection as well as sustainable agriculture. So to Kat's points about getting your hands in the soil and realizing how biodiverse that little community is and that you can cup in your hands, all the way up to these magnificent public lands and parks that we have access to. And it also circles back to Taryn's point about the fact that for some people, they don't have access. And that is a huge piece of Earth Day. And our next step is making sure that we have access for all.
Before we get to Sylvia, to just close out with you, what kind of advice do you offer for the kids and families watching?
Yeah, so I'll try to make it like a neat closed loop that's kind of inspiring. I come from a household with community activism. My father was a community activist for things he was passionate about. And so early on, I saw that he modeled that for me, and I developed that understanding of my responsibility for my community. And that required, engagement. And I think that there are a bunch of different ways you can get involved, even just going to your local community choice aggregator and make sure you're using 100% renewable energy, whether it's East Bay Clean Energy, Marin Clean Energy, or Clean Power SF. You can check, and it might be a cup of coffee, like $5 a month extra to go to 100% renewable energy. But I actually got involved with the Sierra Club to move all of our municipalities here in Marin, first county in California, all municipalities 100% renewable energy. And I was a part of that movement, of a great environmental movement here. And I think that, it was scary to go and speak to public officials, but that modeling is so important for peers and for others in the community to get involved. And it's also so necessary. I told myself, we're making history, So do I want to be on the sidelines making history, fighting for our planet, or do I want to be in it with the community? And so, that circles all the way back around to that community activism that was ingrained in me early on and that I'm trying to pay forward to the next generation.
Oh, that is so lovely. And it's the kind of ethos that I hope more people feel in their heart and live in their lives. So, Jens Cutrano, thank you very much.